Our movement is about replacing a failed and corrupt political establishment with a new government controlled by you, the American people. The Washington establishment and the financial and media corporations that fund it exist for only one reason: to protect and enrich itself. The establishment has trillions of dollars at stake in this election. For those who control the levers of power in Washington and for the global special interest, they partner with these people that don't have your good in mind. Our campaign represents a true existential threat like they haven't seen before. This is not simply another 4-year election. This is a crossroads in the history of our civilization that will determine whether or not we, the people, reclaim control over our government. The political establishment that is trying to stop us is the same group responsible for our disastrous trade deals, massive illegal immigration, and economic and foreign policies that have bled our country dry. The political establishment has brought about the destruction of our factories and our jobs as they flee to Mexico, China, and other countries all around the world. It's a global power structure that is responsible for the economic decisions that have robbed our working class, stripped our country of its wealth, and put that money into the pockets of a handful of large corporations and political entities. This is a struggle for the survival of our nation, and this will be our last chance to save it. This election will determine whether we're a free nation or whether we have only the illusion of democracy, but are in fact controlled by a small handful of global special interests rigging the system, and our system is rigged. This is reality. You know it, they know it, I know it, and pretty much the whole world knows it. The Clinton machine is at the center of this power structure. We've seen this firsthand in the WikiLeaks documents, in which Hillary Clinton meets in secret with international banks to plot the destruction of U.S. sovereignty in order to enrich these global financial powers, her special interest friends, and her donors. Honestly, she should be locked up. The most powerful weapon deployed by the Clintons is the corporate media, the press. Let's be clear on one thing. The corporate media in our country is no longer involved in journalism. They're a political special interest, no different than any lobbyist or other financial entity with a total political agenda, and the agenda is not for you, it's for themselves. Anyone who challenges their control is deemed a sexist, a racist, a xenophobe. They will lie, and then again, they will do worse than that. They will do whatever's necessary. The Clintons are criminals, remember that. This is well documented, and the establishment that protects them has engaged in a massive cover-up of widespread criminal activity at the State Department and the Clinton Foundation in order to keep the Clintons in power. They knew they would throw every lie they could at me and my family and my loved ones. They knew they would stop at nothing to try to stop me. Nevertheless, I take all of these slings and arrows gladly for you. I take them for our movement so that we can have our country back. I knew this day would arrive. It's only a question of when. And I knew the American people would rise above it and vote for the future they deserve. The only thing that can stop this corrupt machine is you. The only force strong enough to save our country is us. The only people brave enough to vote out this corrupt establishment is you, the American people. Our great civilization has come upon a moment of reckoning. I didn't need to do this, folks, believe me. I built a great company, and I had a wonderful life. I could have enjoyed the fruits and benefits of years of successful business deals and businesses for myself and my family, instead of going through this absolute horror show of lies, deceptions, malicious attacks. Who would have thought? I'm doing it because this country has given me so much, and I feel so strongly that it's my turn to give back to the country that I love. I'm doing this for the people and for the movement, and we will take back this country for you, and we will make America great again.
And another deadly virus that struck the globe.
Newly discovered coronavirus.
Important things is one that I mentioned several times from this podium.
To vaccinate.
To shape the narrative about the coronavirus.
Should not be necessary for me to do what I'm about to do, to state the clear facts about how uniquely devastating and deadly this disease is.
I feel confident knowing about what this virus is and what we can do with it.
To vaccinate.
New and deadly coronavirus.
A deadly and contagious virus. The deadly coronavirus.
The coronavirus.
The dangerous coronavirus.
The deadly new strain of coronavirus.
Coronavirus.
Clarify a bit.
To vaccinate.
It's the third time I've said that. I'll probably say it 3 more times, see?
Vaccinate, vaccinate, to vaccinate.
In my line of work, you got to keep repeating things over and over and over again.
To shape the narrative about the coronavirus.
Vaccine for coronavirus.
For the truth to sink in.
Try and figure out how to get this vaccine made.
A catapult the propaganda.
I feel confident knowing about what this virus is and what we can do with it.
To shape the narrative about the coronavirus.
To vaccinate.
Well, look, what we need to understand very clearly is that what we're witnessing right now is literally the convergence of the fake news media, big scientific establishment, and big pharma all coming together because they know that a guy like me is not supposed to be speaking out against them. A guy like me is supposed to be a sellout like most of the academics in the biological sciences who all rely on funding from big pharma and Fauci. That's what we're talking about. What we're witnessing right here is the fact that we have been brainwashed by the military-industrial academic complex to believe that they are the source of all truth, that they are the source of all health. When the history of humankind shows that innovation, science come from the outskirts. And after World War II, what we've seen was a consolidation of the academic establishment with the Manhattan Project, with Sputnik, that a few set of people think that they're going to control science, where they have a problem with someone like me. Because I got all the degrees, you know, I was nominated for the National Medal of Technology and Innovation. I am a Fulbright scholar. I have 4 degrees from MIT. You know, I'm known as a renowned scientist. You know, I'm an author. So they have a problem because I'm not willing to be a good Indian and shake my head and sit in the lotus position. That's a problem that they have. And this problem ain't going to go away for them. This entire model is about a global set of elites like this guy who knows nothing about the biological sciences, didn't grow up in working class neighborhoods, doesn't understand what it means to be a working person, him thinking he knows better. And I'll challenge him too. Let he and I have a conversation about the immune system. Let him come here and defend himself. Let's talk science. Let's not talk nonsense. Let's talk science. Bill Gates and Fauci, Francis Collins, I'll take all 3 of them on. And they won't be able to defend themselves because the fundamental issues, the truth will come out that what they're really about is promoting an agenda. It's about propaganda. It's about fear-mongering people. And it's about fear-mongering particularly the vulnerable educated elites. Because you know what the good news is though? The plumber, the electrician, and working people who actually work with their hands know this is all BS. And that's why they're going to uprise, and maybe we should have a good revolution in this country. Maybe it's about time that we put an end to this hegemony of a small set of people. And by the way, most of those people, the epicenter of them is between the 1-mile radius between MIT and Harvard. The epicenter of the deep state is right over there. And I know where it is, and I've known it since I came here in 1981. Fortunately, I've learned all of how they operate, and I know all their weaknesses, and it's time that that establishment be smashed because they do not serve the interests of working people at all. unfortunately, this guy Fauci has been in this environment for nearly 4 decades across multiple presidents, and he's essentially embedded into the scientific establishment, which has created an unfortunate lie about the immune system and an unfortunate lie about the solution to something like this called the coronavirus, or more importantly, infectious disease, without any real emphasis, which is a real issue, about the fact that it is a overactive, dysfunctional, weakened immune system that overreacts, and that's what causes damage to the body. And unfortunately, Fauci has not talked about that, because the truth of that leads to a solution which has nothing to do with mandating vaccines and shutting down the country. And that's what's unfortunate. One of the two most disastrous things here are we're socially distancing people and hiding them. Go look at the research, a landmark study. When you isolate people, that is one of worse than the detriments from obesity, smoking, and heart disease. Social isolation actually leads to upregulation of inflammatory compounds in the body and downregulation of antiviral compounds. So you're basically increasing the person for viral infection by the amount of stress you're causing them from social isolation. And separate from that, we're telling people not to go out in the sun, which is vitamin D. Vitamin D is an antimicrobial. So this is essentially a recipe for actually hurting people, not really supporting them, but all brought to you under the rubric, and media says it over and over again, social distancing, flatten the curve. And this is sort of the nonsensical science that Fauci is expounding, and it's what needs to be exposed, and really what we really need to talk about if we truly care about public health is building up people's immune system.